What Avenger would we all be?
I think I'm definitely Hulk. I think Mike is definitely Ant-Man. I think Evelyn, you gotta be Black Widow, and I think you gotta be Spider-Man too.
One, two, three. Oscar wieners. Oscar wieners. Oscar wieners. These boys are the Oscar wieners.
Yum, yum.
Oscar wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners,
Ain't that a thing?
the only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night is required viewing for lunatics, haters, and punk trash.
Wouldn't
Actually,
have it any other way.
I am Uncle Sam.
And I'm Aunt Samantha.
No, I'm Michael
Is it-
Leesander, and
Yeah.
this is a podcast where we pick a Best Picture winner at random and try to figure out what's Best Picture worthy. And this week we are talking about the most recent Best Picture winner, the 98th Best Picture winner. It's one battle after another.
And if you didn't notice, based on the auras emanating from the screen, we have two very special guests with us. Our recurring team of Avengers, of film assassins, so to speak. Evelyn Preston and Anna Giacometti are both once again in the house to help us parse through the chaos of this Oscar season. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for being here on a Sunday morning when we should all really be at church.
After this,
After the so we're talking about Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. It is the story of an ex-revolutionary named, well, he has a few names. He goes by Ghetto Pat, goes by the Rocket Man.
nice.
He's under the alias Bob Ferguson after some events we can get into. And he has to go after his daughter when she is targeted by an old flame of her wife who also fled. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. He has to go after his daughter because she's kind of kidnapped slash chased by this psycho Vince McMahon walking ass.
Life is crazy sometimes. Life takes all kinds of unique twists and turns.
It sure does. And yeah, and we could get into like the actual plot. I mean, I feel like most people have seen this is like one of the most talked about movies of the year, if not the most talked about movie of the year. But first, Evelyn, what is your relationship to Paul Thomas Anderson? What is your relationship to, do you know him?
Are you
Uh,
are there whispers of you two going around? I mean, if you want to clear anything up, just please, the floor is yours.
Well, he may or may not have pushed me out of a moving car on a highway. So
Mm,
there's
yeah,
that.
we really need to talk about that more.
However, I am a huge fan of his films, and he's made some of my favorites, such as Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza. Love both of those films, controversially, Licorice Pizza. I think I saw it 6 or 7 wink times while I was
nice.
while I was in theaters.
And Gen
I love
Alpha
that movie
definitely is
too.
listening.
I
Yeah, for
support
sure.
that. I love that movie.
You liked Licorice Pizza too?
Oh, loved Licorice Pizza. That was my favorite movie of that year.
Yeah, I thought it was great. So yeah, I think he's great. I haven't seen all of his things. I haven't seen Magnolia or Hard Eight, so gotta definitely get those underway, but I think he's fantastic. Yeah, I feel like his stories are just films that he makes are just very lyrical, follow like an interesting pace, and kind of like One Battle After Another tend to have a lot of subplots, which I think is really fun when there's so many subplots and they can kind of just come together really nicely. So, yeah, really, really enjoy his work.
And what do you think of One Battle? Where does it stack up in the movies of his that you've seen?
Very, very high. Like I mean, I like this better than Punch Drunk. I like this better than Boogie Nights. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's I don't I mean I like Phantom Thread better for sure. I think that movie is just like a masterpiece and just amazing. But I think this is really good. I love the message. I think the story is great. I think the acting is incredible. Everyone is like acting their asses off in this. So, yeah,
Hell yeah.
I thought it was amazing. Loved it. Definitely one of my favorites of last year.
It's got to have the fewest ops out of all the nominees, I think. I just feel like it's almost you can't say universally, but like almost universally enjoyed by the masses is my interpretation. We did recently have an interaction with one particular person who did not like, which I was surprised. I thought he was
I thought,
joking.
yeah, I thought he in particular would really like the movie, but he didn't like the movie. I've heard a lot of people who take issue with the way black women were portrayed in the movie.
Mm,
I think that's like a common criticism of a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies, though, the way like he handles diversity. I mean, there's a lot of people had a problem with things that happen in Licorice Pizza too. So I mean, I've definitely heard the same thing, 100%.
Anna,
Yes.
what what about same question to you? Like, what are your feelings about PTA? And then brought more broadly, what are your feelings about one battle after another?
Well, and I got a sneeze coming, I think.
let us hear it.
It passed.
Okay.
Leave that in.
All right. We'll be back.
Um, I'm a big PTA fan here. I love a parent teacher association and I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I think they both
Yes.
do great work. Um, I I love Punch Drunk, love Boogie Nights. Phantom Thread I actually really dislike. That's the only one I did not like. One battle after another, I would say if I were ranking them, I would go Boogie Nights or Licorice Pizza in one and two. Punch Drunk Love in three, maybe one battle takes the fourth spot. So it's not my favorite of his, but I would say he's like top top 10 directors for me. Big fan. Big fan of his work. I saw this movie in theaters like opening weekend, and it was like one of the most fun theater experiences I've had. I feel like everyone was like gasping and laughing out loud. Um, and I loved how goofy the movie was. Um, and yeah, I just had a blast watching it and left thinking about the movie a lot. And yeah, I think the acting is incredible. I'm glad Sean Penn won, even though he
Mm.
didn't show up. But like I watched that movie and was like, Sean Penn's gonna win for this. Like that was incredible acting.
Yeah.
And he, I thought, did a perfect job in that movie. And I thought everyone acted really well. I mean, I I love a Leo movie, and I feel like this suited him, even though he had that terrible little ponytail, the little bun that I just wanted to cut off.
I do feel like it's maybe not like I didn't think it was like a knock a ball out of the park acting performance from him, but I think his role is so iconic in this in the sense that I can see Halloween costumes
Yeah.
a decade down the line of Bob in his bathrobe and his carrying his rifle. I just think it's so visually memorable.
Yeah. And Tiana Taylor with the pregnant stomach shooting the rifle is
Yeah,
iconic.
sick.
That shot is gonna be in movie montages, like when people look back at like the history of movies. I feel like that gun on the stomach is gonna be like a quick flash in there too.
I agree.
Well said.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm gonna skip over you for a second, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, all good.
Just to jump to that, first of all, I love Paul Thomas Anderson. Punch Drunk Love is my favorite. It's like Punch Drunk Love is one of my favorite movies. That was like the one that clicked with me I remember watching it Super Bowl Sunday in like 2011.
Mm.
You watched it
Um,
on Super Bowl Sunday?
yeah, I have I remember just like
Go Giants.
having this like very like important experience watching that movie totally legally online. But yeah, I love Paul Thomas Anderson. So to your point, Anna, about like the that shot being iconic. I remember I saw this on my birthday. I turned 29 years old on the day I
Happy
saw this
birthday.
movie.
Nice.
Thank you. And I remember like it's so it doesn't happen often, but like sitting in a theater and watching a movie and just like feeling like, oh, I'm watching a movie that is like going to be talked about forever. Is such an exciting feeling. You're like,
Mm.
I'm seeing images that are going to be burned into like the fucking cinematic Mount Rushmore for all time is just like the best feeling.
I do
Yeah.
think One Battle feels very palatable in a sense that this is not me being contrarian to be contrarian, in a sense that it doesn't feel like it was made for me. Like my favorite movies ever felt like a director or a visionary or obviously team of people came together and made me a movie. And I think that feels really special. This didn't feel like that, but I do feel like it was iconic and impactful.
I do think that is an interesting point though, because like this movie is Paul Thomas Anderson trying to be like it feels like where he's like, what if I kind of sanded off my rougher edges
Mm.
and
Mhm.
made a movie that was like could be watched by like my parents who didn't like this movie, but there is a universe where
Right.
they do because it's like, oh, it's like, there's like kind of action scenes, there's like a fucking incredible all-timer car chase.
All
Um,
timer car chase.
All-timer car chase. Um,
Heart bumping.
what did you guys think? Another, let's just go through the controversial aspects of this movie. Like I feel like people also have a problem with the way this movie represents radical revolutionary movements. Like the French 75 are seemingly very egotistical, very adrenaline addicted, people who seem kind of more concerned about blowing shit up and like what and getting into car chases than uh serving the people they, say they're serving.
I think obviously he's taking a side, but he's not in a way that like is unaware of the issues that do exist within movements. Like the fact that they had this issue, the fact that he couldn't remember the password and like that really derailed the entire like mission and chase, I think is like a direct criticism of these like organizations or groups. But yeah, I think I remember in like the first scene when there were like explosions, not really, and then we see like Leo. I remember being like, wait, what side is he on? Like, are these good explosions or these bad explosions? Which one is it here?
Right.
Right.
Like, oh, who's my team?
Yeah. What team are we on?
Yeah, yeah,
There was a
I
little
exactly.
bit
al
of
I
confusion, I guess.
always like to know if I should be rooting for an explosion.
I'm usually anti-explosion. You really got to win me over to be
It
pro.
takes a lot. It takes
It
a
Yeah.
takes a
lot.
You
lot
got
to
to
be
have
pro.
purpose behind you if you're an
Right,
explosion.
right,
You got to have some
right.
intent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did the explosions win you over?
Well, I mean, uh, see,
Choose your words very
this is
wisely.
why I can never be. I'm more, and you know this. Everyone who's listened to this podcast knows. I really just like to sit and talk. I think a lot of issues could just be dealt with by sitting down and having a conversation.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes I'm like, let's just all get in the same room and maybe talk about our differences. I think a lot of this movie could have been solved if we just sat down and talked.
Evelyn, were you going to say something earlier?
Yes, I have a couple things to say about the like political aspect of this film or revolutionary aspect of this film. So, number one, I have a funny anecdote, which is that my boss is very into watching movies too. She told me the other day, we were having a conversation that she watched most of the Best Picture nominees. She asked me what I thought of One Battle. I said I loved it. She said she thought it was amazing too. However, she said, yeah, the first like 30, 40 minutes of it were pretty woke, but I was expecting that.
Okay.
I said, "Oh, okay. Okay." But so I mean, in thinking about it, like yes, it's definitely like leaning towards a progressive way, but it's fiction, so I don't really think it's necessarily woke or like pushing any kind of agenda. Like it's just a fictional story. So, but also I think this movie made me actually think a lot about Eddington and how that movie was like weirdly very similar to this movie. I found myself thinking about it a lot while I was watching One Battle, and I feel like One Battle is kind of what Ari Aster wanted to make, but he kind of flopped. Like it just it didn't fully get there at all what he was trying to do. And I think that talking about these sort of extremist organizations, if you would, such as I think the organization that they're a part of in One Battle, the French 75, kind of embodies Antifa to like a certain degree. Like, they believe in like liberating people and, not being under this sort of totalitarian control. Um, and I just think that I think, you know, we can argue about methods of which someone is trying to liberate people, but I think like the message is that they're just fighting for freedom. They're freedom fighters at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Yeah. Eddington's I like Eddington a lot, but I think maybe one battle the reason I think one battle succeeds over Eddington for me, I'm sure there are people who love Eddington more, and those are sickos and freaks, and we don't allow them on this show. Um, are like one battle is more, and I think actually why it works is it is more general. Like it has specificity in the way it like kind of portrays and explores these like revolutionary movements, but it is like not talking about a specific. Everything is like the French 75 are not real. Um, uh, it's it's not like let's actually talk about, even though it's heavily talking about what is currently going on, it's not like let's talk about a specific thing. And because it fictionalizes these things, that it is able to like almost like talk about them more directly and more concisely versus like Eddington
Mhm.
gets like all confused about like, wait, this happened at this time, so we have to like bring in the George Floyd stuff, and like that's kind of weird, and like it just gets a little bit like discombobulated.
Yeah, I agree. Like the way that One Battle can talk about immigration and abortion, I feel like those were like two of like the main things that were touched on that they were actively fighting for is done so much with so much more grace and sensitivity than Eddington with wearing masks and George Floyd.
And character. I mean, I haven't seen Eddington, but it just feels like I enjoyed all the character moments in One Battle that made them feel like real people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think the heart. So the French 75, they don't exactly come off looking great, and radical revolutionaries like them don't come off looking great because like first of all, Perfidia rats on all of her compatriots, and they are either jailed or killed. Um, but the French 75, even I forget his name, Billy Goat is his code name. The army guys come to him, and he's like, you know, where are Bob and Willa Ferguson? What are their names? Like, obviously, they don't say Bob and Willa Ferguson because they don't know their names. And he's like, their names are, Fred Flintstone and Daffy Duck or whatever he
Yeah.
says, which is
Their names
cool.
are
You're like, oh,
yeah. He's like
this
their names are fuck and you.
yeah, and like and it's rad, but then he's like, hmm, okay, by the way, we can come after your sister who has nothing to do with any of the shit that you're up to, and we could ruin her life. And he's like, cool, so Bob and Willa Ferguson are at this address, they're in Backton Cross, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Social
Right?
security number is
Yeah,
023
yeah. Like
818. Yeah.
they fold so easily, which like listen, I would fold too. Um, but I think the heart of this the two performances that are the heart of this movie are Benicio del Toro, probably my favorite performance of the year,
Yeah.
as Sergio San Carlos, Willa's karate sensei,
So
um,
sick.
and Regina Hall as Deandra, who is the one who initially grabs Willa and like protects her for a while, takes her to
Mhm.
the what is it, the Brave Beaver, the the nuns.
Is
Yeah.
that what it's called? That's their outpost, the Brave Beaver.
Yeah, what is it? It's something of the Brave Beaver. I can't remember the exact name. Um, but like those performances, I think are the heart of the movie because even when Regina Hall is captured and Willa is taken by Lockjaw, Sean Penn, uh, this she's put through the same interview of like, where's Bob Ferguson, that guy Billy Goat was, and she doesn't fold. She's like, I'm willing to go down for this shit. And it's
Mhm.
like the movie and then Benicio is like, I think Paul Thomas Anderson is saying if we want these movements to persist and effectively overthrow the parts of our societies that are fucked, we need to be like ocean waves. We need to be like egoless, fucking steady. We need to protect each other, look after each other, and be willing to go down with the fucking ship. Like
Yeah.
Benicio gets arrested for Bob, a guy
Yeah.
who just comes to his door and like lays all his shit on him, and then Benicio has that line where he's like, we've been laid siege for 1,000 years. Like, don't get selfish. Because Bob's like feeling sorry for himself. And you're like, that's what this movie is about. It's about like, how do you like how do you not how do you stop the ego and pursue these things like completely altruistically and serving your community, and
Yeah.
that's where I think like this movie is like very politically effectively communicates its political like agenda, not even agenda, but like its ideology.
Yeah. Those three characters feel like the truest revolutionaries of the movie,
Yeah,
just through radical compassion.
right, exactly. And it
And that's
rules.
sick as hell.
Like Tom
It's
fucking
when Willa
Cruise.
had that cell phone. Regina Hall was pissed.
She was
Mm.
so mad.
Oh,
I would
would
be
you
mad
not
too.
be? Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. But
But girl,
also
do you know how
that's
serious this is? You haven't met Lockjaw? He's a little kooky.
He walks crazy.
such a good walk. That walk, him coming over the hill after like his car explodes,
Yeah.
He's
incredible.
strutting his stuff.
Such a good walk.
Spoiler alert for one battle after another, by the way, I guess. But
Yeah,
yes,
spoiler alert.
that is
But
incredible. I'm like, this guy is fucking still alive?
Ah,
Jesus.
I
honestly,
yeah,
perfect
he
movie
was bad.
title too.
it's
I feel like it's
Yeah.
an
incredible title.
incredible title.
Yeah. I'm not left wondering what is the begonia of it all? Who is the secret agent? You know what I mean? It's like, no, I am seeing what's on the poster.
It's quite literal. Well, it's one battle after another in that like you have crazy car scenes and everything, but it's also like generational. Like you see Willa then taking up the fight at the end. Like we will, as a society, keep fighting these battles. A lot of them that we have already fought, like abortion, and thought that was done.
To you guys, did it feel bleak or did it feel empowering that she was going to carry forward with being a revolutionary?
I think it feels, I mean, I think it is bleak. I think we are in a bleak time, and I think,
No, come on.
It's not so bad.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's tied up neatly. I don't think it's like, it doesn't make me feel necessarily good about the future. but it
Hmm.
makes me feel a little maybe emboldened. Not so much as them, but a little bit.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. You really, at least every time I am done with this movie, I'm just like pumping my fist. Especially like fucking American Girl starts playing. You're like, this is like the best song ever.
That's true. I mean, great soundtrack and score. Shout out to all the radio heads out there
Oh
are
my,
feasting on this.
Johnny Greenwood's score is so fucking good.
I I didn't do my PTA rankings earlier, but I think this would be my number one. The only other ones I've seen are Licorice Pizza and There Will Be Blood. But I listened to the whole soundtrack of Punch Drunk Love in the car one day, like a couple
John
weeks
Bryan,
ago,
it's so good.
and I said I have to get this movie into my eyes immediately, and
Yeah.
I haven't yet, but I will.
Punch Drunk is so good and the score is great. And
Yeah.
when we were talking about it earlier, I was just thinking, I can't believe that movie was made almost 25 years ago because it feels like it could have been made yesterday. It feels
Yeah.
so impactful still and so fresh and
Hmm.
new. And I love when I watch a movie like even though it's made in the 2000s, that is definitely modern and new to some extent, but a film that's almost 25 years old and feels like it could be made yesterday feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
The mark of a great director.
With a
I
great
think all of
personal
his
life.
movies feel very original in a way.
Mhm.
Like I think what he is doing is he has this also I like that he has like a style that's not so in your face.
Hmm.
Um I but yeah, he's one of the greats. Also insane it took him this long to get an Oscar.
Yeah, his speech, I think was his best director speech. He's like, you really make a guy work for one of these. Because what's so funny is like he has listen, the a guy especially a fucking guy who's like really confident in himself and is like, I'm obviously making like some of the best all-timers, whatever, like it's kind of annoying, but like listen, if I was making those movies, I would be like, sorry, why am I not getting the Oscar?
Like,
Like,
what the fuck do I have to
did
do?
you see Phantom Thread? That was pretty good, right? And it's like, sorry, we got it. Well, I think that what year was that? Was that fucking Shape of Water?
That's
Think about
hilarious.
yeah.
Shout out to
He
Shape of Water.
No.
sure.
Yeah, I think it's just such this weird anomaly Best Picture winner that's like this one won.
No, don't even
There were
I
so many
don't
good
even
movies that year, though.
I know.
Um,
what else was that year?
Dunkirk, Lady Bird,
Oh, love Lady
uh,
Bird.
Get Out.
I
Do we
want
have
to see a lady kiss a fish guy. Okay.
do we have any other thoughts about One Battle After Another? Any moments that we want to talk about?
I think we covered. Shout out to Dijon, surprise actor in
Oh
this.
yeah, he's in the group, right? Alana Haim
Yeah,
is also there.
Alana Haim is there. Yeah, that's really it. I think we covered everything. That passkey sequence I think might be my favorite part of the movie.
Me
My
too.
favorite part is when they're doing the DNA test in the cloisters. That's my favorite part.
Does does Bob find out? Does Bob slash Pat know that he's not Willow's dad?
It's not, I just looked it up. There is no scene that indicates that he knows anything, but it's speculated that he knows that he's not the father. So I don't know, but that's just headcanon, so I don't know.
Yeah. Even that speaking of DiCaprio's performance really quick, other parts that make me cry now that I've seen the movie a million times is when him and like the thing about him and Willa is it's so interesting because they literally have one scene together in the movie, like in it to intro their relationship. It's the scene where she's going to the dance and she's like, "You came home drunk last night. You drank and drove." Um, it's one scene, and then they just never they don't see each other for another hour and 45 minutes, which is crazy
Yeah.
that when they see each other again, at least for me, I'm like, and like, you're watching DiCaprio just be insane, run all over the place, being like completely confused and befuddled, but like he sees Willa again and like he just like drops everything and he's like, Willa? Just the way he says Willa, I'm like, that's an actor. And it's
You
so moving, and you're like, oh my God, he finally found her.
you do see them together when she's a baby.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very incumbent that he has taken to fatherhood so quickly and readily. And if you can kind of sense how special that their relationship is and will be and how much she means to him, even as a child.
Yeah,
Totally.
that scene of the three of them in bed where she's like on their chests.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Beautiful.
He's kind of portrayed as this like loser alcoholic pothead, but he still manages to come across as such like a loving father and a good father and, protective. So I just think
Yeah.
it's really interesting how it comes across that way. I feel like it's like touched on very briefly. He's like smoking and drinking, but I don't know. It's just something that stuck with me and I thought was really well done.
Yeah. And he still doesn't come across as deadbeat. I think the fact that he's there and present makes him a good father.
Right.
His
It's like
characters got layers like onions.
Like onions.
we can't go on another Shrek riff.
Hang on, hang
Um,
on. I got
but
more in the tank.
no, yeah, that's such a good point, Evelyn. Yeah, he feels like a deadbeat like for his own life, but like when it comes to Willa, he does seem very like I love when she's like yelling at him and like she's like cursing at him, calling him an asshole or whatever. He's like he starts to be like, "Hey, you shouldn't talk to your." He's like, "You know what, actually? You know what? I like that you tell me what you think." He's like, "You should always tell me what you think." I'm like, "You know what?" He's like he's kind of with it, even though
Yeah.
he's smoked out of his mind. Any other thoughts on OBAA?
I'm set.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's time to get to the nitty gritty of what the fuck happened at the Oscars, nominees wise.
Yeah, it was crazy when Warren Beatty said La La Land won. I was like, we did this already.
This happened.
Um, all right. So obviously one battle wins Best Picture.
Nice.
But there are 9 other nominees.
What the fuck?
Putrid filth that the Academy decided to nominate against
Disgusting.
an absolute barn-burning masterpiece.
The nerve.
First up, we have Begonia. Evelyn.
Bugtown.
Begonia is about a man. His name is what's his name? What
Charles
is Jesse,
P. Bug.
what is Jesse Plemons' character's name?
Jonathan Begonia.
I'm doing great here. Teddy. Teddy. There we go. I got it. The film is about a man named Teddy. He's mad at the system. He's mad at the world, and he decides to sort of pin his frustrations on the world on this one woman who is the CEO of a company played by Emma Stone. He decides to pin all of his frustrations on the world on one woman who's running this company. He sort of delves into this crazy world of conspiracy theories. He believes that she is an alien here to destroy the human race, to degrade the human race, to make us slaves. And he decides that it would be a great idea if he kidnapped her along with the help of Don, who I can't remember if it's his cousin or brother. And they kidnap her and they try to squeeze information out of her about these alien overlords that are plotting against humanity. And that is the best I can describe it as.
It's a good description.
Spoiler alert, she's an alien.
Fuck.
Shit.
And sort of, I really enjoyed this movie. One of my main takeaways about it was the ending of the movie, like the whole actual alien sequence, reminded me a lot of sort of the art style that Poor Things was in.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fun. I thought it was whimsical. I thought it was wacky. I knew this wasn't going to win anything. And I think Yorgos kind of said the same thing about Kinds of Kindness, which I also enjoyed. I just really like his stuff. And I just like weird, wacky, kind of disturbed, freaky movies. So, yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed this. Sorry, my cat's tail is in the way.
That's okay.
Say
Has
hi.
This
Uh,
movie had me pissed.
Pissed, huh?
What
Why,
made you
Anna?
mad?
Okay, so I, I enjoyed myself during the movie. I felt like I was very, I was starting to question myself, and then, but I felt very icky that it's kind of violent conspiracy theorist.
Because he's vindicated at the end.
Because I don't really like that it's like at the end of the day, he was correct, and it makes me nervous. I also like
I
I didn't like being on that side of it, you know?
Mm.
I don't necessarily believe the audience is radical conspiracy theorists. I feel like the audience is made of people like us who generally would hear Teddy's conspiracy and laugh at or feel sorry for him. And I do think it was an interesting twist to flip that on its head in the end. Um, I see a lot of
Me.
Yorgos's movies as I will always watch them for just how bizarre they are, but they're never any of my favorites. I did think this one was a little bit shallow in terms of the characters.
Mm.
But Evelyn, like that, like you said, that ending sequence is like one of the craziest movie watching experiences I had this year. Like that was really, really cool. Like
Mhm.
everybody is just dead.
Yeah. Kind of
This is wild.
to what you said, Anna, I completely see what you mean. And I think people kind of had a similar problem that you had with this movie with Eddington. That, the maybe the message is unclear if like these type of people are okay or normal or things like that. But I think the movie is very, telling of our time and like what's going on. There's these crazy people who do crazy things because they're radicalized so much. It's now I'm like thinking about One Battle again. But I don't know. When I watch movies, sometimes I'm not watching like to always like see a good message. Like I'm okay with something that's a little bit fucked up.
Yeah.
I've seen some fucked up movies that definitely have some questionable morals behind it. And I think that can make like an interesting movie watching experience and can like challenge your thinking. Is this bad? Like, does the director believe this? Does the director think this is good? And like, that's kind of how I felt leaving Eddington. And I think I just really enjoy those kind of movies. But I mean, they're not for everyone, 100%.
Definitely, I feel like this movie, more than any other that was nominated this year, I've been thinking about. Like, this is the one that's kind of stuck with me the most. Um, but yeah, I left feeling really gross. Like, I felt gross that whole night because I was like, I can't believe I was so, because I was just very empathetic towards Emma Stone the whole movie, her character. And by the end of it, I was like, I'm a fool. And you know what? Maybe I am being controlled by an alien, and I don't like that he got me so hard.
I guess let's keep chugging along. Choo choo, because we're hopping on the race car. It's Joseph Kaczynski's F1, which
I'm
is
sorry.
my-
How the fuck did you not parlay that into a Train Dreams transition? That's crazy.
That's just what's next on the Oscars page.
That's
I go in
fine.
alphabetical order as we've
Okay.
established.
That's fine. Yeah.
Instead of choo choo, you could have did vroom vroom.
It could have just been a simple vroom vroom.
This is insane. On my own show, I gotta look at the treatment I get.
Sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
this is your show.
This is our
Who else?
show.
It's not Anders.
No, it's definitely not. No, no, no. I will not accept the responsibility for this.
All right, so F1. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, director of Top Gun Maverick, which was nominated also for Best Picture a couple years ago.
Shout out.
Um, F1 is kind of also, it's almost a remake of Top Gun Maverick if Top Gun Maverick wasn't a legacy sequel. Um, F1 is about Brad Pitt, Sonny Hayes, who is he's just like a race. He drives any kind of race car, any kind of whatever, just to scrape together money and just keep moving. He's very nomadic, very cowboyish. Um, he got in a really bad F1 accident when he was like very young, like in his 20s or whatever. It's been like 30 years, and he hasn't raced F1 since. But then his buddy Javier Bardem is like, "Hey, my team is fledgling. I need you to come back and race my F, or at least I think initially it's like train or just like over supervise my team or whatever." And then he's like, "Nah, I gotta get in the cockpit." And he starts racing alongside Damson Idris, who plays Joshua Pierce in the movie, and he's the younger driver for this F1 team, and it's just about like their kind of rivalry, like old and young, loose cannon and sort of like rigid up and comer as they try to take this team to the top. And this movie fucks, slaps, and owns, actually.
Okay.
I feel like nobody likes this movie.
What does it own? What does it own?
My heart.
It's beautiful.
It is just it literally uses every cliche in the book. It doesn't do anything original. But it's also the kind of cliches that you don't see in movies anymore, really, or at least that were more predominant in like 90s and like 80s like sports and kind of action movies.
None of this nuanced bullshit.
I don't want nuanced shit. Sometimes I just want to see a guy go through an arc I know where it's going to lead and him to race cars really good.
I went into this movie being like, I can't believe this was nominated. This is gonna suck. I really enjoyed myself. I'm not gonna lie. I I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like it really moved. Um, I
Like a race car, like a race car.
Mm-hmm.
I I it didn't feel long to me. I know it was long. I feel like it was quick. I liked the characters enough. And yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head by saying that it's like it felt like an old movie and it felt like, it worked for a reason. And I was surprised because I really did not like Top Gun Maverick.
Huh.
But this worked for me.
Next up, we have Frankenstein, the Guillermo del Toro epic. Who's got it?
That's beautiful. I'll tell you a little bit about a tale called Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is about a monster named Frankenstein who creates a guy named Nothing, who proceeds to ruin his life just by existing and being born. It's based on a famous Mary Shelley book called Wuthering Heights. I'm kidding. It's based on Frankenstein, of course. If you just are fresh hot off the book and you're looking for a faithful film adaptation, this is pretty close. Some may disagree. I think it's pretty faithful.
You read the book?
I read the book actually promptly after seeing the movie. I was curious how they would line up. They stack up pretty well. I do think there are some character shifts. The character of Frankenstein's monster is a largely more sympathetic figure in the movie than he is in the book. But all in all, it's structured very similarly. It's kind of told through anecdotes of a sailor, sea captain on the Arctic Circle as he found Victor Frankenstein, who's just like at his wit's end. And it's basically an exploration of one man's foray into madness, who is betrayed by his own ego and hubris, and the consequences that ensue. Ultimately, I think it's watchable and fine. I don't know how deep it was to really make me feel encouraged to watch it again or, speak profusely on it. I do think where it shines the most is in its artistry and set design and
Mhm.
costuming and makeup. Like they probably took 30 grand to make Jacob Elordi look ugly. And frankly, it didn't work. It wasn't enough. But
Is
I
he
do
still
think
sexy to you?
he's still sexy, unfortunately. But I do think he played a good Frankenstein. He played Frankenstein's monster, a believable and convincing portrayal. Um, I would check it out if you're into that sort of thing. But if not, honestly, fine to steer clear of it.
This movie was tough for me.
Mm.
Yeah,
I th I actually think the set design kept taking me out of it.
Mm.
Too whimsical. I was over it. I actually did watch the beginning of the movie twice by accident. Um,
what do
How
you
does that
mean?
happen? Please explain how that
well,
happens?
I was watching it with my boyfriend and I didn't realize he fell asleep. So I didn't realize until about an hour and a half in. And then he was like,
An
"Oh, but I
hour and
want."
a half in? That's not the beginning of the movie.
So then the next day, I was like, well, I gotta finish Frankenstein, but he hadn't seen the beginning, so I started over. I watched the
Oh my
first hour and a
God.
half twice, and that's time I'll never get back.
Yeah, for sure.
This movie really, it was hard for me to make it to the end. However, the best part I think was I would have preferred a movie if it was just Frankenstein and that blind man.
That was the best part, for sure.
That was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I was so distracted by everything in the movie. I feel like I know that that is Del Toro's like style, but it's not for me. I
I
felt like I was watching like I don't know, it reminded me a lot of like PBS Kids.
Mm.
I don't know how you got that, but I am in agreement that Del Toro's style
Set that
isn't
feels like a
necessarily.
set.
It does, yeah. It's not necessarily for me either. It feels very manufactured and curated, which I think appeals to some and, is definitely a testament to how much effort and thought he puts into this art. But it comes across a little bit manicured to me.
Yeah, like I like it when Wes Anderson does it. I don't like it this way.
Yeah, I agree. I think the styling is just like the camera angles are very odd and in your face, and everything is very blue.
I agree, and I feel like it's the lighting is kind of doing a lot of work. I didn't see this, so I can't speak to that, but I know exactly what you're talking about because of films like Pan's Labyrinth. Like
Mm.
I totally understand what you're saying. And I actually kind of feel the same way about like Poor Things and the end
Yeah,
scene of Begonia. Like it's like this like very otherworldly kind of fantastical, whimsical, like you said, set design. And I think like the lighting does a lot of work in those areas. It can just make it feel very synthetic. So
yeah.
I completely know what you mean. I happen to enjoy that. Like I love the like I love movies like The Never Ending Story. I think that's what it's called. Like
Mm,
it kind of has that vibe too.
yeah.
Um there's another one that I'm thinking of Dark Crystal or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Dark Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of has that energy to it too. But the PBS Kids, you like hit the nail on the head with that. That's 100% true. Like big comfy couch, like
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
very big comfy couch.
You might enjoy this. It was not for me.
Yeah.
I do think Jacob Elordi was great. I do think he is great. But yeah, not for me. I don't need to see this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankenstein stinks. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Uh,
All
next
good.
up is mine. It's Chloe Zhao's Hamnet.
Nice.
And it's about Agnes, played by Jessie Buckley in her award-winning performance. Um, who meets some guy named Bill and they shack up together. Uh, they have a
Bill
few
who?
kids. Uh, Bill is like, I want to write plays, and it's like, I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere. Then he writes some plays. They have some kids. Um,
Jesus.
they have some kids. One of them dies, and then the husband's like, I think I'll write a whole play about this. And nobody ever talked about the play again. Uh, I, I really like this movie. Um, it's very intense. A lot of crying, a lot of screaming. I don't think I'd ever watch this movie again because it's a lot of that.
I'm sorry
Um,
to jump in. I did briefly contemplate watching this before we recorded today, just to try and sneak it in at 9 in the morning,
that would have been tough. You would
and I
have
think that would
come,
have been tough.
you would have
Oh,
come in a
yeah.
terrible mood.
Okay,
I love this movie. This movie made me more, this was the most emotional I got, I think, during any of the best pictures this year. Um, I thought Jessie Buckley was incredible. Um, but all of that being said, I think I'm done with the Shakespeare stuff for a bit. I think we've seen enough,
Can
you
you
know?
yeah,
like just in general, like at
I think we're done.
adaptations? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like let's take 10 years and look into someone else.
yeah.
You
I
know?
was really into this.
No, yeah, yeah. I'm crying. Yeah,
Like this was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Great acting, great child acting also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with that being said, I do like, this time we're looking at the woman, who it's a new, a story because we didn't know about her. We know about Shakespeare, but we didn't know about Agnes. But, you know, with that being said, still,
I've been dodging this for a while, and may continue to dodge it for the rest of my life, frankly.
That's yeah.
Chloe Zhao, shout out to her. She made one of my favorite movies ever in Nomadland. So for that reason alone, I may give this a shot. But it was always tough to find a slot to fit this movie in because I was like, do I feel like being devastated tonight? I don't know, you know?
Mm.
Evelyn, you haven't seen Hamnet?
I have not seen it, and similar to you, Ander, I've definitely been avoiding this because I have this like complicated relationship with Chloe Zhao. She's actually a close personal friend, but um I hate Nomadland. It's actually probably one of my least favorite movies of all time.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
kidding. So, but I love Eternals.
Eternals Fox.
So I have been avoiding this, but I will watch it. I'll watch it. I'll give it a go. And I'm also just not fully sold on Paul Mescal. Like,
Oh, really?
what's up with this guy? What is the chokehold that Paul Mescal has on people with vaginas?
I love Paul
me.
Mescal. I get it.
He's got me in a tight grip.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Hamnet, which is no thoughts.
Perfect. Next up is Marty Supreme. Normal movie. Who's got it?
Me,
Totally normal, standard.
I've got it. I'm really excited to talk about this because I just watched it 2 days ago, and then Sophie and I rewatched the ending last night because it was just so good. We like scrolled to the last 15 minutes and just watched like the whole final table tennis match just to watch it again because it was just so good, and the ending in the hospital is amazing. But this is one of my favorite movies of last year, even though technically I just watched it. I just thought it was incredible. It had the like shadow of Uncut Gems all over it. It's gritty, it's New York. I love kind of how I feel about One Battle After Another. I feel like every single person in this movie is acting their asses off. Tyler, the creator, is amazing in this. I couldn't believe it when I first saw him. I was like, oh my God, he's in this movie and he's doing so good. I'm like, that's not Tyler, the creator. But this movie, anyways, this movie is about ultimately very loosely based on a famous table tennis player um trying to climb his way up to the top. He's extremely talented, but morally, I don't even want to say morally gray. I'd just say immoral. He's got some issues. He's got some issues, but my main takeaway from this film is it's just it's trying to showcase the lengths at which a person is willing to go to be the best or be the greatest, which is, I think, something we see in a lot of movies, but nonetheless, it's a really powerful message. And I just think this movie is fantastic. I think it's so well made, and I thought Timothy did an incredible job. It was such a treat seeing Gwyneth Paltrow in this. I love this and I want her to act more, but I understand that she's running a grifting empire currently. So, yeah. But yeah, that's Marty Supreme. It's about the pursuit of greatness or pursuit of satisfying your ego. I don't know. You can look at it a lot of different ways, but I really loved this. Really, 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 really liked it. And I was completely gripped by this. Like Anna is gripped by Paul Mescal.
And those little short shorts that he wears.
Famously so.
That slutty little hoop in his ear.
Anna, what did you think of Marty Supreme?
Cream fucking slaps. This movie is a blast.
Hell yeah.
This movie is a good time. I was so excited to see. I've been waiting for this movie for years. When I heard Timothée coming out with the table tennis movie, table tennis, a sport I could understand. That's something I could get behind. And then I saw those, New York, there were paparazzi shots of them out in the city. I said, this is going to be good. And you know what? It was good. I was on the edge of my seat every time when Penn and Teller came out with the gun. I almost screamed. I'm a sucker for a lost dog. When that bathtub fell through the ceiling, oh my goodness.
That was crazy, yeah.
But yeah, I love this. This was cinema.
Hell yeah.
I think I went in with so much higher expectations. Like Anna, like you, I also heard Timothy Chalamet ping pong epic, and I was like, sign me the fuck up.
Mhm.
And perhaps it just didn't meet my expectations. Perhaps a combination of that and Evelyn, I agree. I think that you could draw a lot of comparisons between this and Uncut Gems.
Mhm.
And I think Uncut Gems is a preferable movie, in my opinion. Like, I thought it was more intense and impactful in a way that Marty Supreme wasn't to me. I thought, as much as I love Tyler the Creator, I thought he was a bit distracting. I thought Mr. Wonderful was really distracting. I'm like, get this guy out of my movie, honestly. But
Your movie.
This is
Your
my movie.
movie.
God damn it!
I didn't know I was talking to
Xander's
Josh
movie.
Safdie.
Get this guy out of my freaking ping pong movie.
I don't love that it elevated him to like the level of star that he
No,
now is.
Josh Safdie created a monster. Honestly,
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know.
Well, he arguably is canonically within the movie playing a vampire that's 500 years old.
Which is a crazy, bizarre detail to just drop in there.
The kind of line reading where you're like, sorry, am I missing a reel? Is there 20 minutes that I just missed?
I was in the theater asking the projectionist to go back.
And also, I think Timothy did a really great job. Obviously, like this is an intense role, but this movie could have been so. I think he did a great job of like I was rooting for him, even though I didn't like anything about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like the magic trick of the movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie just highlights that, like, to get to the top, you have to step over other people and do bad things to, like, I think it kind of just highlights that the people who are at the top of their game, like, they've had to do and make bad choices to get there. So
that like you could do all the bad things, and that doesn't mean you're gonna get to the top because like he doesn't really.
yeah. Because I think that the movie introduces this interesting question of what does he really want? Does he want to win the championship or does he just want to beat Endo?
Next up is Secret Agent. Who's got it?
I'll tell you a little thing or two about Secret Agent.
Please.
The Secret Agent. Is it The Secret Agent or just Secret Agent?
It's The Secret Agent. I misspeaked.
I think it'd be the secret agent.
Right.
Well,
Of course.
let's not get too up on my case. The Secret Agent is directed by Kleber Mendoza Filho, It follows a researcher named Armando in the late 70s during the Brazilian military dictatorship era. And he's being targeted by his wealthy former employer, who basically puts a target out on his back because of supposed communist sympathies. So he is in a group. Armando finds himself in a group home with other political dissidents as he plans a route to escape Brazil with his young son. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ander, at what point in this movie is there a scene where perhaps a disembodied zombie leg jumps out of a river and starts kicking gay people in a park? Yeah, that does happen. And does it make sense within the context of the film?
Absolutely.
Weirdly, yeah. Obviously, this movie touches on a lot of different things. You got the political history of Brazil. You got the nature and importance of family and found family. You've got the role of news media and propaganda in public misinformation. It tries to do and say a lot of things, all while being a pretty slow burn of a film. Other than the leg kicking sequence and a killer gun chase sequence towards the end. I thought it was good. Fans of the I'm Still Here franchise will be excited by this, I'm sure. It's impossible to not draw connections between those two films. I'm Still Here, which came out last year and was in last year's Oscars pool. Ultimately, I think it was an enjoyable first watch that I don't think I would watch a second time. But I thought it was ultimately enjoyable, if perhaps not biting off a bit more than it could chew. But I did think the performances were all really good. I was not familiar with any of the performers in this film beforehand, but I keyed into what they would do in the future because I thought all the performances were really good, and the music is excellent. I will say that as well. Music slaps, bangs, and owns. Anna, why don't you tell us a little bit about Secret Agent?
The secret.
Is this? Hold on, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. This is gonna be so good.
No, go ahead.
I did such a good job of keeping it that I thought that was a really interesting technique.
Yeah.
As that was, and how that the reoccurrence of the secret.
I could not agree more.
In different ways, and yeah, I would just like to echo that acting was really good.
I agree.
Oh, that script! That script was a script.
They sure filmed that movie with cameras.
That was shown in theaters.
It sure as hell was.
Somebody said action, and somebody certainly said cut on that set. So I guess
there was a craft service table on set.
One can only hope.
Yeah, gotta feed them.
I don't know what gave it away, but you have found it. This was the one that I missed this year.
It was also a bit hard to obtain, I think. Like, it was largely in theaters for most of the run, like up until the Oscars, I think.
No, yeah, I did start it on Hulu yesterday.
Okay.
And then I said, not today.
Fair.
Yeah. I love this movie. I think The Secret Agent is like incredible. I will say first half an hour, this movie's long. I was excited to watch it. I heard really good things about it. I put it on. I watched it on my phone on Disney Plus, which is, I'm sure, what everybody intended. And the first half an hour, I was like, I'm into this. The first, the opening scene is weirdly very tense. You're like, is something crazy gonna happen? Doesn't happen. I guess spoilers. Then it keeps going. Then after the first half an hour, there's 45 minutes where I'm like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I supposed to know what is happening? Because I kind of have no idea what's going on. I remember texting Danielle, my girlfriend, and being like, she was like, how's the movie? I'm like, I'm so mad. I'm getting mad. The movie's making me angry. And then literally I paused it to text her, play it again. There's like this very important interview scene, and I'm like, oh, this is what the movie's been leading up to. And then the next hour and 20 minutes, I'm like, this is just the best. I love this.
It is really delayed though.
Slow
When
burn is
they
right. You have it right
Yeah,
with slow burn. Um,
they it takes a while to get to like what the you're kind of unsure as to like what Armando is doing, why he's in hiding.
yeah.
But yeah, that becomes clear in that interview scene, and I do think the movie picks up from there.
Yeah. It has a real, I'm not gonna like spoil the ending, but it has a real like I love this kind of ending. Andrew, you could tell me what you think of it, but it has the kind of ending where you're like, so why did I watch that? But like I think it's making a larger political point of like, yeah, I don't know. History just keeps on chugging along. Shit that feels important in the moment ends up not mattering at all. And like people move on, people get forgotten. Like it's
Mhm.
really a movie about like the ways that we do and don't remember like people and times in history. It's very interesting.
Yeah, like it was certainly no coincidence that the final shot in sequence takes place at a blood bank when they're talking about family, and I just think the resolution was kind of dissolute in the sense that it was a lot of different threads, and I'm trying to piece them all together, and I feel like there was no one really memorable, impactful statement.
That's
I
fair.
felt like it was saying a lot of different things,
Yeah, that's fair.
but that's a secret agent. And not really, he wasn't really a secret agent, right? In the end,
No.
no. So
The secret agent is the friends we made along
that's
the way.
beautiful. That's tremendous.
Um, Next up we have sentimental value.
Sentimental value. I think my favorite movie of this year of the nominee. Would
Nice.
you have predicted that?
I
Yes,
I feel like I would have.
100%.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
this movie was made for me.
Yeah.
Um, not don't it's not like I have a famous dad or something. Famously don't have one. He's dead. But
Sorry.
it's okay. Thank you. But this girl does, and her dad made a movie that he wants her to star in, but she says, "No, I don't think so, because where were you my whole childhood?" And then he says, "Okay, bet. Let me get Elle Fanning." And Elle Fanning kind of plays Elle Fanning. Um, and it's a beautiful, lovely movie about family and generational trauma
Mm.
and revisiting painful part times in your life as an adult and forgiveness. Um, I thought the acting was really incredible in this movie. Um, I thought the ending sequence was incredible. I thought the script was really smart. Um, I really felt that all of the characters were real people in this movie. They felt really fleshed out and complicated. And I really enjoyed it. What did you guys think?
I do agree that I think the strongest attribute of this film is how real the characters feel and how their interactions make them feel tangible.
Mhm.
Um, I like the connection between the two sisters in the film. I think it felt really real and like a just a necessary familial connection. Like it mimics the feeling of like bonding with somebody in your family, where it's like this is somebody that you basically assigned to be in your life, but also you establish a meaningful connection with them. I think that's nice. Um, Ultimately, I mean, outside of that, I'm not sure if it's going to be the most memorable down the line. Um, there were elements like the house particularly played a role that I thought was a bit confusing. Um, but I did like it.
I also love sentimental value. One of my favorite movies of the year. I was a little nervous going in because I feel like people were so high on, is it Yoakum? That's how you say his name? Yoakum Trier? Not the director? Is that how you say his name? Does anybody know? I'm gonna say
No.
Yoakum. Uh, people were so high on Worst Person in the World. Like when that came out a couple years ago, people were like, "Holy shit!" And I love that movie. That movie's amazing too.
How does it
Uh,
stack up to sentimental value?
see, I've seen both these movies once. I've been meaning to go back to Worst Person and watch it again.
I've seen Worst Person a few times and I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious about this movie and I want to see it. I just have been lazy. But I
Yeah.
want to get to
Yeah.
this and I'm just curious how well it stacks up to Worst Person because that like blew my mind.
Well, I feel like the reaction to Sentimental Value when it was like premiering at festivals or whatever was like another masterpiece. He did it again. And then I feel like the buzz kind of died down and people are sort of like more kind of like cold on the movie. That's been my impression at least.
Mm.
So I was going watching it like, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, am I not gonna like this as much? I think this movie just appeals more to like the stuff I like the things I love in like stories in general, which is like I love parent uh kid dynamics. I love movies about dads is always gonna get me, especially complicated dads who are like, whatever.
Mm.
Um, so I might like this more than Worst Person. I, I plan on watching this a lot. I love this movie. I think it just has so much nuance. I mean, everything you said, Anna, where it's there, everybody feels so real and
Mm.
like complicated. Yeah,
You also, I think it could have been really easy to have Elle Fanning's character like unlikable, and just like kind of insert in like Hollywood blonde. But I think the way that she still maintained a lot of agency, um, was cool because I think that that could have quickly been just like a trope or just like a like almost felt that she was like being used because she essentially was like she was filling in for the role that was meant to be played by the daughter. But like I
Yeah.
liked that she was the one who ultimately was like, I'm not right for this.
Hmm.
This isn't for me. Exploring these complicated relationships and like, um, you know, as an adult, thinking about how much you need to let go of and how much to still hold on to, I think is a really interesting theme to be explored.
like to me, the house is like a representation of like this family's like history because so many generations of this family have lived in this house, and it's like so much complicated stuff has happened in this house, and like they need to leave. It's like sometimes you need to leave the past behind in order to like move forward. That's kind of what the movie's I think what the movie's about. You have to
Yeah.
like kind of either let go of what can't you have to forgive what can be forgiven and let go of what can't be forgiven. And that's like the only way to have a kind of good life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the last scene, I think,
Oh,
is a perfect last scene.
yeah.
Great
It
last
rules.
scene.
It rules. But we gotta go south.
Oh no.
We're going. Where does Sinners take? We're going to Sinners country.
We're going to Sinner's Town, baby.
So Sinners is about we got bros. We got two brothers, Smoke and
Smoke and
Stack.
stack.
And they're coming to the South to open up a juke joint. And there's this guy, and he's so good at playing the blues that vampires come. He
That's
elicits them.
okay. Let's not
And
exactly.
and then the vampires say, "Hey, we want to come to your juke joint." And they say, "I don't know if that's so safe." But then Haley Steinfeld says, "No, come on." And then they get eaten by vampires.
That's a crazy. That is a crazy summarization of Sinners. A
And
movie
then
about how if you play the blues so good, vampires will come. I love that.
I wish I was that good at the blues.
Yeah.
here's my take on Sinners. If someone were to describe this movie to me and talk about all the themes of how culture is appropriated, and then explain this beautiful scene where all different, generations of Black culture come together and dance, I would say, whoa, that movie sounds beautiful. But
Mhm.
then I watched the movie and I said, I'm not liking this. I'm not having fun. So I will say, I saw the vampire scene before I saw the movie. The scene where we're like, oh, we realize they're vampires.
Like where they come to
Okay.
the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched that scene first, and then I watched the movie. So in my head, I thought, oh, this is a vampire movie. Then I start watching the movie. I think, okay, where are the vampires? I also don't really like a period piece, and I hate a vampire.
That's fair. I mean, there is a lot of whiplash that you get from the vampires. Like they do kind of come out of nowhere. I think that makes the movie exciting and adds juice to it.
Mm.
But I understand the other angle where you're like, whoa, I feel like we had a whole different thing going, and now this is wildly different than what I initially signed up for.
Did
Yeah,
you
to me, it felt
oh,
like, okay, they had this movie, and they're like, and then what if vampires?
I disagree. I feel like it feels so interwoven into the fabric of the movie that like if you took the vampires out, I don't know what this would be. Like this movie had to have these crazy white bluegrass vampires.
It's just not for me.
that's fair.
That's fair. I
Um Ander, you saw this. You saw this movie, I guess.
I've yeah, I saw the shit out of this, dude.
And you liked you thought it was
Yeah,
rad as
this
hell.
yeah, it's red as hell. I think well, I mean, well, I'm sure he'll get his due props in a moment, but MBJ shout out because the man acts his socks off two times over.
The Axis smokestacks off.
Acts his smokestacks off. The moment when they're in the car and Samuel has the guitar and he just starts singing and Michael B. Jordan's head just like whips around to like look at him as such an air of surprise, like, oh shit, like this kid is good at music. Shit like that, I love. The music is fantastic. I think it's such a great through line throughout this whole thing. Um, it even is used as a character building and story building tool in a way. Like, obviously, when you say, if I told you we're introducing vampires into this story, you think, like, okay, the vampires are obviously the villains, and they are, but it does muddy the waters when Stack is kind of inducted into the vampire gang and he's like, yeah, no, I want to live forever. And even the white people approaching the door like play beautiful music that's almost like meant to entice you. I mean, you can interpret it however you want, but like in my head, it's definitely a choice to make them good at music. You know what I mean? I just think it was such a cool through line throughout the whole thing, and the different eras of you know different eras of like black music and history, all of them coming into the same joint together and dancing like spiritually. That's fucking movies. That was so
Sick.
cool.
It's like one of
That's why I
yeah,
gave it the star.
Fair. Yeah, that scene is incredible.
the well-earned star. Evelyn, what about you? What do you think?
So I wasn't super interested in this movie when it first came out, but then Mike said, "You'll love this. You need to watch this." So I watched it because of Mike.
Shout out.
And I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great or doing anything super special. I will not deny I was 100% entertained. I enjoyed watching it. Um and, I thought it was very easy and digestible to watch, but kind of, I have a similar feeling about it that you do, Anna, which is that I feel like it's just doing a lot. Like it's throwing a lot of ideas out there, and it's kind of just, it's a lot for me. There's a lot happening, and I don't think all of it succeeds super well. I'm not completely sold on everything that it does. Um, there's this like air of Marvel to it that made me uncomfortable. Um, and it's almost like I felt like this movie was like this is like if Great Gatsby and a Marvel movie had a baby. That's how I was feeling during this. And it was hard to wrap my head around, but I had a good time. I was happy. And I'm glad I watched it. It was not my favorite thing I saw last year. I don't think it's trash or irredeemable, but it's just yeah, it was good. And, a nice popcorn movie for me.
I understand what you're saying, Evelyn. I think see, I think this movie absolutely fucks, slaps, and owns,
Yeah.
but I think I meant to rewatch it for this because I haven't seen it since I think it came out literally a year ago, like last March. Um, and my problems with it, I'm curious whether I'll they will like multiply or not multiply, but like I'll feel more strongly about them or less strongly if I watch it again. But like I'm never as much as I love the movie and I think it looks like maybe the best looking movie of the year. And the score is the best probably of the year for me. And the performances are all great. But like I'm never totally clear. And I love when the vampires come. I love that twist. I'm never totally clear though on like what is this movie like saying though? And not that it needs to like say some kind of like big. Maybe I'm just stupid. I'm probably just stupid. But like I don't know if it's like saying like not that it needs to say some like big societal thing. I'm not saying that, but like even just like the basic story elements. I'm like, how are these like in conversation with each other, and like what is the journey that like these characters are being taken on? I never
Mm.
totally clear about that in my memory of the movie, even if like I loved watching it and it rules. And then regarding the MCU of it all, the big thing that like the whole movie I was like this is cooking even if like certain things don't work I still love it. The last like 5 minutes of this movie where you have
Yes.
the actual blues player, what's his name?
Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy. I knew you would know. Thank God you're here, Ender. He's like actually, he's playing the guitar. I'm like and the credits are playing. I'm like this perfect ending. But then there's a whole other scene where Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld return as they're vampires. Spoilers, and they kind of have a conversation where I'm like, why is this in the movie? A little bit. I'm like, this doesn't really leave me with anything. It just kind of feels like an epilogue for no reason. Um, I'm like, I would
Interesting.
have loved if the credits just played over Buddy Guy playing, and it's like, look, this guy survived this terrible night, and he got to play the music that he wanted to play, or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But like, I don't
See,
know.
I think that epilogue really, I think if anything, hammers home who the characters of Smoke and Stack are.
Tell me why. Explain it to me.
Because you have the scene with Buddy Guy where Stack comes back in his vampire hood and basically states like this is how he wants to live. And it makes sense because that's who he was in his normal life. He was this person who was always, clinging on to the next thing and, just wanted to act and live like he lived forever. Whereas Smoke, his brother, was so set on his family, and that's his epilogue where he gets to, you know,
Kill the
spiritually
clan.
cradle his child
Oh, yeah.
and speak with his partner. It's such a beautiful moment, and that's why he had to kill her, because he didn't want to see her become a vampire. He didn't want her to lead this kind of immortal, debaucherous life. I think he just wanted to be at peace and wanted her to be at peace. So I think it really wraps up both characters very nicely.
I'm going to
Um,
say something insane. I'm going to say
Please.
something insane for a second. I was not super impressed by Michael B. Jordan in this movie. I'm so sorry. I would have
Nah,
rather Timmy or Leo take the Oscar for
nah,
this.
that ain't it, fam. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
I was
sorry.
much more impressed by Lindsay Lohan.
No,
I'm
what?
so sorry.
no, no way.
I was when I was watching Sinners in the theater, I was like, this is an Oscar should win performance that probably isn't even get nominated, so I'm so happy that he won.
Do you think he
I
won
just
for Smoke or Stack?
I think he won for Creed too.
And he should. And he absolutely should.
I think maybe part of it that annoys me is I'm actually just like annoyed by the characters of Smoke and Stack. I just find
Too
them
cool.
irritating. Too cool.
They do kind of have like this super cool guy energy that
You just
maybe I
like
could see as off-putting, but
they're just
I just
kind of
think they are.
annoying. Like I don't know if it's just like badly written character. Anna, am I crazy for any of these takes? Am I
I mean,
insane?
I didn't feel I wasn't here for the movie either.
It's possible it's just boy stuff. It could just be we're just like
I
these
was gonna
guys are
say that
so
earlier. I was
sick.
like, is
Yeah,
this just like boy shit? We're just like vampires are fucking sick.
it's possible. It is possible.
I love the blues. All right. Well,
Bring us home.
finally we have Chugga Chugga Choo Choo. It is
Yes, there he
Train
is. He's
Dreams,
still got it.
directed by Clint Bentley, I want to say. Um, and it is based on the novella by Dennis Johnson, which I've read and fucking rules, and everybody should read it. And it is about a logger, played by Joel Edgerton, who in like early 1900s, who he's just logging with William H. Macy, and then he has a wife and they have a daughter, and then one day that wife and daughter die in a fire, like a giant forest fire, um, and he just basically spends the rest of his life missing them. And I love this is I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's about like I what I loved about the book also is it's a movie, or it's a story about what what if something so consequential happened to you fairly early in your life and you just never get over it? How do you live? Like, what does the rest of your life look like? Um, because he's only married to his wife. Like he it was like the 1900s, so they probably married after like 5 days of knowing each other, and they're married for like 3 years, I think, 3 or 4 years. And it's like, but he lives to be like 80 something, and you're just like, how does this 3 year just short span of time like define the rest of his life? And I just find that so beautiful, moving, sad, interesting.
I thought the story was really beautiful, and definitely had me asking those same questions. My hot take here is I absolutely hated the cinematography. Thought it was so distracting. And if I saw one more fucking lens flare, I was gonna throw something at the TV.
I could not agree more.
The lens flare just kept reminding me you're watching, like I couldn't get lost in the movie because I just kept thinking lens flare, lens flare, lens flare.
This was me during Nickel Boys.
This is 2025's Nickel Boys, is Train Dreams.
I disagree with that
It's
so wholeheartedly.
the cinematography of Nickel Boys made me want to punch a hole in my TV.
This feels so Instagrammy though.
It also didn't feel like it made sense for the movie. Like it was such a like the most crisp movie, but then you're just like in the 1900s, like in a field.
I think, Mike, I
These
think
are
I might like this as a novella, but as a movie, it
you might
felt
like
like it
yeah.
lacked grit. I think, Anna, you might agree.
You
Um,
don't speak for me.
I don't know. Well, it sounded like that's what you were saying, but
No, no, you're right. Um, yeah, it felt like it should have been a novella.
I recommend reading the novella.
I might,
I got
but
it.
I don't
Okay.
like the main character really. Or it's not that I dislike him. He's just like classic good guy, uncomplicated guy who's really sad that his wife died. And then his kid is alive. And then I'm like, holy
Whoa.
shit. Yes.
See, I don't see her as that's not his daughter. That's like either
Oh,
a
it's just him
vision
like
or
hallucinating and shit.
I don't know.
I
That's
think
also in
that
the
was a
book. That
vision.
happens in the
Cool.
book, but it's sort of like that he like is this is my daughter, but I don't think that's I think it's just like some feral girl who came across his doorstep one day.
And
Michael is going
why?
to bat for Train Dreams.
I love it's the
Respect, but
best.
He is the conductor of this train's dream.
Evelyn, you haven't seen Train Dreams, correct?
No.
Okay. Are you going to see Train Dreams?
It's not the top of my list right now.
Really? You're kidding.
Just I've heard some things from some friends that it's, got lens flare, so I don't
No,
know.
go see it.
This sucks.
Sorry, Mike.
Those are the nominees. Do you guys think One Battle After Another is Best Picture worthy?
Yes.
I think so.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Before we depart, was there anything that wasn't covered in the sense of like what were your favorite movies of the year?
Great question.
I loved If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and that was
I gotta
that was
say,
nominated for Best Actress, and Sophie and I saw that together, and we both were like completely blown away by that.
Didn't
I-
really like that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't love that.
I
I feel
really,
like
really, really liked it.
I had a hard time deciding what was real and in a way that I think was distracting.
Okay.
But maybe I just had too much wine before I watched it. That might be on me.
You know
If I
what?
had
That
wine,
might be
I'd kick
why.
And also famously hates kicking.
I loved Blue Moon.
Shout out.
I also really disliked Weapons.
I loved Weapons.
Nobody brought up Avatar Fire and Ash. That's weird.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
I haven't seen it. I think I'm off the ship. I'm honest.
Off the tip.
Best of the three. So it's weird that you guys are getting off with the best
Really?
one.
And how many are left?
Two at least.
My favorite, it's not a movie, but my favorite piece of Oscars art was Retirement Plan.
Yeah.
Like if that were a movie, I would choose that over all the nominees. It's 7 minutes long. It was a beautiful animated short film. Did not win, but was nominated, and it knocked my socks off.
All right. Well, that has been 2025. I've been your host, Conan O'Brien.
Nice. And I've been your co-host, O'Brien O'Conan.
If you ever find yourself pursued by a Christmas adventurer, well, first of all, so you're gonna want to go to this place. It's in the Chupacabra Hills. It's a old house, and the password to that house is you gotta
This
gotta
is crazy. You
have
gotta
to
land the
buy a
plane,
pack.
dude.
You have to shut up for a second. You gotta buy a pack of ballpark franks, and you gotta flip it around and run to the door. Then they'll open the door, and you gotta say relish on the dog, and then they'll let you in. And then you'll be part of the revolutionary nuns of the Brave Beaver.
Hell yeah.
I think I need to see a doctor now.
We
Oh,
all
come
do.
on.
Yeah, we all do.
We'll see you next week, Wieners.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you guys.
See you next year.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. Sorry we went long.
Thank you for sticking around so long. Everyone's already left. She doesn't give a shit.
Like bye-bye. But thank you,
She's
Anna.
like,
This is
fuck, finally. 3 hours.
this was a beautiful conversation that I look
Anna's
forward to
gone
every
now.
year. Okay,
Perfect.
bye-bye.
This is perfect.
You and me, buddy. Let's finish out this hour. What do you say?